Chapter 1. There were 3 things I was sure of that morning. 1. I'd finally found time to eat breakfast. Point 2. My coffee was still hot. Point 3. I would not survive another day without cleaning the supply closet. Simple goals. Manageable. Peaceful. Then Pickles happened. The door burst open like someone had thrown a grenade made of fur and energy. 1 second I was sipping my coffee. The next a Beagle came tearing across the room like a streak of chaos, trailing his leash like a victory banner. I barely had time to move before he leapt onto the counter, skidded across the smooth surface, and launched himself into my arms like he was trying to claim sanctuary. I caught him. Barely. Whoa there, buddy. I blinked down at the wide-eyed Beagle now panting in my face. His breath smelled like peanut butter and panic. Is there a fire? Are you emotionally unstable? Both. Then came the second wave. Pickles. You fuzzy little betrayer. I turned in time to see a blur of pink and glitter come barreling through the doors. A little girl in a sparkly tutu, 1 ballet flat and 1 sneaker, hair in messy pigtails, and a juice box clutched like a weapon of war. She skidded to a stop and pointed at the dog in my arms. He lied to me. He pretended he was limping, and then he ran off. He what? I asked. He faked an injury so I'd give him the last cheese stick, she said, dead serious. Before I could process that, the final piece of the puzzle entered the man. Tall, flannel-wearing, breathless. He stopped just inside the doorway, hands on his knees, gasping like he'd just survived a triathlon. I need a nap, he muttered. I looked from him to the tutu to the Beagle currently trying to lick my chin. Let me guess, Caleb Walker? He straightened. Yes. Sorry. So sorry. Pickles got excited. Then Sophie got excited. Then I gave up. I raised a brow. And this is my niece, Sophie. I'm watching her while my sister's in rehab for her leg. And Pickles is, well, you've met Pickles. Oh, I have, I said dryly. He peed on my shoe. Sophie gasped. Pickles? That's illegal. The dog gave me a completely unapologetic tail wag. Caleb looked like he wanted to crawl under the exam table. We can leave. We should probably leave. I handed Pickles over with a smile. Absolutely not. You brought in a dog, a child, and an entire sitcom in under 2 minutes. The least you can do is let me check his ears. He stared at me, then laughed, deep, warm, and just a little sheepish. Fair enough. And just like that, my normal day was over, and something entirely new had begun. Chapter 2. I should have known Pickles was planning something. He had that glint in his eye, the same look I'd seen on countless animals right before they did something ridiculous. Dramatic or both. But I was distracted. Caleb was talking. His flannel sleeves were rolled up, revealing unfairly attractive forearms, and I was just out here, trying to act like a professional adult. I'd finished checking Pickles' ears, slightly inflamed, his paws covered in glitter, Sophie's doing, and was midway through updating his chart when I turned around and realized he was gone. The leash was dangling off the exam table. The door was slightly ajar, and Caleb was staring at it like it had personally betrayed him. Tell me that dog didn't just... I started, run away. Caleb said, already rising to his feet. I sighed. Awesome. Sophie popped her head out of the play corner, crayon in hand. Pickles does this all the time. He thinks he's part squirrel. I'm sorry, what? I asked, but Caleb was already heading for the door, and I grabbed my stethoscope, stuffed it in my coat pocket, and followed. There was no time to be confused. There was only time to chase a Beagle with boundary issues. We burst into the street just in time to see a brown and white blur dart across the park across from the clinic. There he goes. Caleb yelled. I didn't answer. I was too busy running. In my Crocs. Across grass that had no business being this slippery. I swear, I muttered, dodging a startled jogger and a rogue skateboard. If this dog makes me throw out my last clean pair of scrubs, I'm billing him personally. Don't worry, Caleb called beside me, completely unfazed by the fact that I was half sprinting in pastel scrubs, and he was. Laughing? You're enjoying this, I accused. Only a little. I mean, it's not every day you see a vet go full Olympic mode over a Beagle. Remind me to muzzle you next. We finally cornered Pickles near a duck pond, where he sat, tail wagging, tongue out, and looking very pleased with himself. I grabbed the leash and stared him down. "You are lucky you're cute." Pickles sneezed and then immediately peed on a daisy that I groaned. Caleb doubled over laughing. "You're handling this better than most would," he said as we started walking back to the clinic. "Because I work with animals every day," I replied. "Though usually, the two-legged ones cause less trouble." He glanced sideways at me, smiling. "You mean me or Sophie?" I smirked. "Jury's still out." And just like that, he laughed again, and I couldn't help it. I smiled too. Something told me I wasn't just chasing a dog anymore. I might be running straight into something else entirely. Chapter 3. It started with a knock. Not on the clinic door, on my office window. I turned around mid-chart to find Sophie pressing her face and most of her nose against the glass like a tiny squished jellyfish. Behind her, Caleb stood awkwardly, mouthing something that looked suspiciously like I told her no, but she threatened me with a glue stick. I opened the door. "Hi, Dr. Tessa." Sophie beamed. "You're invited to my tea party. It's very urgent." "Tea party?" I blinked. "Yes. Pickles is the royal guest, but he's mad at Uncle Caleb because he didn't let him eat the couch this morning, so he needs emotional support. Also, I have cookies." I looked past her at Caleb. He gave me the world's most apologetic shrug. I swear I tried to stop her. "No, you didn't," Sophie whispered loudly. I bit back a laugh. "Okay, when and where's this royal summit?" "Now, in your break room." I brought my princess tablecloth and everything. And that's how I found myself 15 minutes later, kneeling on the floor beside a pink plastic tea set, sipping lukewarm apple juice out of a cup shaped like a unicorn's head. Pickles wore a glittery cape. Sophie wore a tiara made out of pipe cleaners and one sock on her hand like a puppet named Sir Barky. Caleb looked like he wanted to disappear into the drywall. "I don't understand what's happening," he muttered to me as Sophie assigned him the role of royal footman and juice refill specialist. "You're doing amazing," I whispered back. "Your juice pouring form is excellent." "You're mocking me." "Only a little. I'm just impressed you survived the glue stick threat." He chuckled. "You've got a dangerous sparkle in your eye, you know that?" I froze for a second. Because that sounded dangerously close to flirting, but before I could overanalyze it, Sophie stood dramatically. "I hereby pronounce this the best tea party ever," she declared. "Thanks to Queen Tessa and Pickles the Noble." Pickles barked once and promptly rolled onto his back. Caleb raised his tiny cup toward me. "To Queen Tessa." I clinked mine against his. "To emotional support beagles and accidental friendships." He looked at me then, really looked at me, and smiled in a way that made my stomach flutter just a little. Oh no. Was I starting to like the dog's owner? And worse, was he starting to like me back? Chapter 4. By the time I finished cleaning up the aftermath of the world's most chaotic tea party, I thought I could finally breathe. Pickles was asleep on my examination table, a pile of cotton balls resting on his head like a crown. Sophie had dragged Caleb out for ice cream, leaving me to finish up some charts and maybe catch up on a little bit of my own life for once. But then the barking started. At first, I tried to ignore it. The clinic was on a busy street, and I'd grown used to the odd dog who thought nighttime was an appropriate time to declare war on invisible squirrels. But this bark wasn't just any bark. It was persistent, loud, and it sounded like Pickles was right outside my window. Groaning, I grabbed my jacket and stepped outside to find him, once again, in the middle of the parking lot, barking at absolutely nothing. Caleb's truck was parked nearby. His window was rolled down, and his head was poking out, eyes wide with exhaustion. "Pickles refuses to sleep," Caleb said, dragging a hand through his hair. "I think he's mad at me." Again. I crossed my arms. "He's fine. He just likes causing chaos." "That's exactly what I told him," Caleb said, looking down at his shoes. "He doesn't listen." I couldn't help but smile. Yeah, dogs are really good at that. The not listening part. "Reminds me of a kid I know," he murmured. "Sophie, of course." We both fell silent. The only sound was the sound of Pickles' bark, which was definitely not calming down. I sighed, shoving my hands in my pockets. "I'll take him for a walk. You can go to bed." You've done your part. Caleb blinked at me. You'd do that? I mean, you've already been working all day and you have a cute dog. I like dogs. You're tired. Go to bed. I shrugged. For a moment, Caleb didn't move. He just looked at me, like he was weighing his options, or maybe just looking at me, period. Are you sure? Caleb, I'm fine. I cut him off. I'll walk him. You go home. He finally nodded. All right. Thanks, Tessa. Seriously. I smiled, a little more easily than I thought I would. No problem. Consider it part of the job description. He didn't say anything else, but he did watch me walk off with Pickles on a leash. I didn't look back, but I could feel his eyes on me. And maybe that wasn't a bad thing. The streets were quieter now, the hum of city noise softened by the late hour. The night air was cool against my skin as I walked Pickles, who had stopped barking long enough to sniff every tree in sight. I didn't expect to hear Caleb's voice again, but he caught up with me on foot a few minutes later, his long strides matching mine. You didn't have to come out, I said softly, though it wasn't unpleasant. He shook his head. Yeah, well, I wasn't sure I could sleep knowing Pickles was having a panic attack over something. I chuckled. Pickles is always having a panic attack over something. He laughed too, his hand rubbing the back of his neck. I get the feeling that you're right about him. We both walked in silence for a bit, the only sounds the clicking of Pickles' paws against the pavement and the soft rustle of the leaves. It felt easy, comfortable. So, Caleb said after a while, his voice a little softer. You've been working here for a while, right? Yeah, since I graduated, I replied, adjusting the leash when Pickles tried to chase after a cat in the bushes. Do you like it? I stopped walking, glancing over at him. His face was earnest, and there was something almost vulnerable about the way he asked. I do, I said slowly. It's a lot of work. And I'll never get used to the smell of pet accidents. But yeah, I love it. It's just, there's something about knowing I'm helping animals, you know. He nodded. I get that. I'm still figuring out what I want to do with my life, other than raise a tiny human and a dog that thinks he's in charge of everything. I couldn't help but smile. It sounds like you've got your hands full. Yeah, he said, his gaze shifting downward. But I think I'm doing okay. I mean, I never imagined I'd be here. You know? With Sophie and Pickles. But it feels right. I feel like I'm actually figuring it out. I had no idea how to respond to that. So I did what any self-respecting vet would do in that situation. I patted his shoulder. You're doing great. He looked at me, a small smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. Thanks, Tessa. Chapter 5. I thought I was safe. The evening had been nice. Calm. A peaceful walk with Pickles had turned into an impromptu picnic in the park. Caleb and I chatted easily, and Sophie had dropped crumbs of her own wisdom on everything from why unicorns are real to the best way to make a glitter bomb. I was starting to feel like I was really getting to know Caleb. He wasn't just the stressed-out uncle who showed up in the clinic with an overexcited Beagle. There was more to him. A lot more. But then we all piled into Caleb's truck to head to the local ice cream shop, and that's when things took a turn. First, Pickles decided he wanted to be a part of everything. Including the ice cream. Are you sure he should have that? I asked, eyeing Caleb as he handed the dog an entire scoop of vanilla. I mean, it's just one scoop. Caleb shrugged, clearly unaware of the impending disaster. How bad could it be? Pickles attacked the ice cream like he was starving. It lasted all of 30 seconds before he started running around the parking lot like he'd just been injected with espresso. Pickles, no. Caleb shouted, but it was too late. INA blink. Pickles had sprinted straight for a little girl eating a cone, knocked it out of her hands, and then proceeded to lap up the puddle of melted ice cream off the pavement. Sophie, meanwhile, was in hysterics. Pickles is the fastest dog in the world. He's a superhero. Look, he's, oh no. Pickles, in all his glory, slid across the pavement, attempting a very ungraceful attempt at a jump. But in his enthusiasm, he slammed straight into Caleb's legs, knocking over the ice cream cone that he had been holding. I had to laugh. There was no way around it. Pickles was an unintentional comedian. He stood there for a moment, looking up at us all, chocolate syrup dripping down his chin. Did the dog just get more ice cream than I did? Caleb asked, utterly defeated. Well, I said, grinning, he certainly lives like he deserves it. Caleb rolled his eyes, but couldn't help the smile that tugged at his lips. He's going to be bouncing off the walls tonight. I think he already is, I said, pointing to Pickles, who was now racing circles around Sophie and barking like a madman. Caleb sighed dramatically. This is what I get for trusting a beagle with a sweet tooth. Sophie, who had been observing the whole scene with wide-eyed amusement, piped up, You know, Uncle Caleb, it's not just Pickles who has a sweet tooth. You definitely do. Caleb blinked. What? She leaned in like she was about to drop some major truth bombs. I saw you steal 2 cookies earlier. And 3 candies from the jar in the kitchen. Wait, what? Caleb looked guilty, and I nearly choked on my own laughter. Sophie shot me a wink. See? He can't say no to treats. Just like Pickles. I couldn't help but tease. You might need to start monitoring your sugar intake, Caleb. Oh, great, he groaned, sinking into the truck seat. First, Pickles, and now this. I smiled, feeling something warm spread through me. It's not that bad. Caleb met my gaze, and for a moment, the teasing atmosphere shifted. Maybe not, he said quietly, but it feels like I'm messing up a lot. I tilted my head. Messing up? Yeah. I mean, being a parent isn't exactly easy. And Sophie, she deserves more than just the crazy uncle who can't get it together. I didn't know what to say. I wasn't a parent, and I didn't know the first thing about what it meant to raise a kid. But I did know about being there for people who needed help, even when things got messy. You're doing great, Caleb. You really are, I said, surprising myself with how sincere it sounded. He gave me a half smile. The weight on his shoulders clearly lightened a little. Thanks, Tessa. That means a lot. Sophie climbed into the back seat and picked up a dog toy, tossing it around. Can we go home now? Pickles is going to explode, and I want to watch him do it in the living room. Caleb and I laughed together. I think it's time for Pickles to have his last burst of energy before bed, I said. Yeah, me too, Caleb agreed, looking over at me again with that smile, soft and real. Thanks for being here. For everything. I nodded, my heart doing a funny little flutter. Anytime. And maybe, just maybe, something was starting to change between us. Chapter 6. It was Saturday morning when the chaos started. I should have known the moment I saw Pickles' face, mischief, pure mischief, flashing in his eyes, that my peaceful morning was doomed. I had just finished breakfast and was getting ready to head to the clinic for my weekend shift when Caleb texted me, Caleb, need your help. Emergency at my place. Please come to. I couldn't ignore that. Emergency? At Caleb's place? I grabbed my jacket and rushed over, hoping I wasn't about to face something catastrophic. When I arrived, I found Caleb standing in his front yard, holding a trash bag in one hand and a half-chewed slipper in the other. The sight made me pause for a second. What happened? I asked, trying not to laugh. Pickles, he muttered, his face a mix of frustration and amusement. He ate my slippers. And then my favorite chair. And then the entire bag of trash. He held up the offending items as if they were proof of a criminal's misdeeds. I crossed my arms. Pickles is living his best life. I'm about to have a mental breakdown, Caleb admitted, looking like he was holding onto his sanity by a thread. All right, I said, giving him a playful grin. Let's figure this out. Where's the little tornado? Caleb pointed to the living room. He's hiding under the couch. I think he knows he messed up. Pickles knows exactly what he's doing, I said with a smirk. He's a master of chaos. We walked into the living room, and sure enough, there was Pickles curled up under the couch, looking up at us with big, innocent eyes as if he hadn't just committed grand theft slipper. Pickles, Caleb said, kneeling down, you've destroyed my stuff. Pickles responded by wagging his tail and crawling out from his hiding spot, looking up at us like we were his personal audience. I squatted down beside Caleb, letting Pickles nuzzle my hand in apology. It's okay, I said, my voice soft. He's just being a dog. You know how they are. I'm starting to think he's part tornado, Caleb grumbled. but there was a fondness in his voice that made my heart do a little flip. "Do you need a hand with anything else?" I asked, standing up. "Actually, yeah," Caleb said. "I don't know if it's a good idea, but I've been meaning to take Sophie and Pickles to the park. But I'm not sure how I can manage both of them by myself." I raised an eyebrow. "Sophie and Pickles at the park? That sounds like a recipe for chaos." "I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it's going to be. But I promised her," he said with a sigh. "I just don't want to mess it up." "Well, I happen to be a professional chaos manager," I said, feeling a little more playful than usual. "I could tag along. Help you keep things under control." Caleb looked at me, and for a brief moment, there was this look in his eyes, one I couldn't quite place. It wasn't quite surprise or relief, but something softer, warmer. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice quieter than usual. "Absolutely," I replied. "Besides, I have a soft spot for chaos, especially when it comes with adorable puppies." That seemed to do the trick. Caleb's smile returned, and he nodded. "All right, let's do this." The park was, well, chaotic, just like I'd imagined. Sophie, excited beyond belief, ran circles around us with Pickles, who was bounding after her like his tail was on fire. Caleb and I managed to keep up, but not without some occasional tripping, laughing, and nearly losing Pickles to an open garbage can. Sophie handed me a ball at one point, grinning like she had a devious plan. "Throw it, Dr. Tessa. I bet Pickles can catch it faster than Uncle Caleb can run." I took the ball and tossed it as far as I could. Sure enough, Pickles shot off like a rocket, and Caleb took off after him, groaning as his sneakers slapped against the pavement. "Why do I feel like I'm the one being chased here?" Caleb muttered, only half laughing as he trailed behind Pickles. "You might be," I teased, grinning at him. Sophie giggled from the sidelines. "You're not as fast as Pickles." "I think the dog has more energy than me," Caleb admitted, panting. "I swear he's a secret athlete." I watched them both, enjoying the rare moment of peace. And for some reason, I felt my chest tighten with something I wasn't expecting. It was this strange feeling of, well, maybe it was affection. Maybe it was something more. Caleb looked over at me, catching my eye. "Thanks for coming." I honestly don't think I could have survived the park without backup. I smiled softly. "No problem. I've got your back." We stood there for a moment, watching Sophie race around with Pickles. It felt good. It felt right, and for the first time, I realized that maybe I wasn't just liking the dog. Maybe I was starting to like Caleb, too. Chapter 7 the following week passed in a whirlwind of vet visits, puppy antics, and occasional stolen moments with Caleb. I found myself looking forward to our time together more than I'd expected, though I'd never admit it out loud. My days at the clinic were full of energy, and there was always something to do, but when I wasn't at work, my thoughts kept drifting back to Caleb. IT wasn't just about Pickles anymore, though he definitely played a role. It was about the way Caleb smiled when Sophie said something particularly silly, or how he'd try to hide his exhaustion after a long day of dog-sitting and erratic park adventures. There was something about him that made my heart warm every time we were together, and I wasn't sure what to do with that feeling. One evening, I found myself sitting on the porch of Caleb's house with a cup of tea in hand, waiting for him to get home. He'd called earlier, asking me to swing by and help him with something, but he hadn't said what. I was starting to suspect that something had more to do with Pickles than anything else. As I waited, I heard the familiar sound of Caleb's truck rumbling down the street. Sure enough, he pulled into the driveway, with Sophie sitting in the passenger seat, chatting a mile a minute. "Dr. Tessa." Sophie greeted me before Caleb even had the chance to open the door. "Uncle Caleb says we're going to play with Pickles in the backyard. You're staying for dinner, right?" I laughed at Sophie's enthusiasm. "Of course, I'm staying for dinner." "I made spaghetti," Caleb chimed in, his voice laced with amusement. "I hope you like it." I had some help from Sophie. Sophie beamed proudly. I told him to add extra cheese. It's the best way. I couldn't help but smile at the thought of Caleb, usually so composed and serious, taking cooking advice from his niece. Sounds like a masterpiece in the making. We all made our way to the backyard, where Pickles was already in the midst of a tug-of-war with a rope. His tail was wagging furiously, and he looked as if he thought he could take on the world. "You think he's going to win?" Caleb asked, eyeing me with a raised eyebrow. "If Pickles wins, we'll all lose," I said with a smirk, glancing at the dog. "That's just the way it works around here." Caleb chuckled, the sound deep and genuine. "Yeah, you're probably right." We took our seats on the lawn, watching Pickles continue his tug-of-war with Sophie. I could tell Caleb was trying to ease into the moment, but there was an undercurrent of something else, a tension I hadn't quite understood. After a few moments of comfortable silence, Caleb spoke up. "Tessa, I've been thinking about something lately." I turned to him, curious. "What's that?" He hesitated for a moment, then looked me directly in the eyes. "I don't know if you've noticed, but Sophie and I, we're still adjusting to this whole me being her guardian thing. I try to do my best, but it's not always easy." I nodded, understanding where he was coming from. Being a guardian for a child was a huge responsibility, especially after everything they'd been through. Caleb had done more than his fair share of adjusting, but I could see that it weighed on him. "You're doing a great job, Caleb," I said softly. "Sophie's lucky to have you. And honestly, I can tell she loves spending time with you." "I don't know if I'm always doing a great job," Caleb said, his voice tinged with self-doubt. "I make mistakes. A lot of them. And sometimes I feel like I'm not enough for her." I reached over and placed a hand on his arm, giving him a reassuring squeeze. "You're more than enough. It's obvious how much you care for her. And trust me, I've seen how hard you work to make sure she's okay." Caleb gave me a small, grateful smile. "Thanks, Tessa. That really means a lot." Just then, Sophie came running over, dragging Pickles behind her. "Uncle Caleb, can we go inside now? Pickles wants to take a nap." "And so do I," she added, yawning dramatically. Caleb chuckled and stood up. "All right, let's get you two inside." As he led Sophie and Pickles into the house, I lingered behind for a moment, catching my breath. My heart had started racing again, but this time, it wasn't because of Pickles' antics or Sophie's endless energy. It was Caleb. The way he looked at me, the way he opened up, the way he seemed to trust me more with each passing day. And for the first time in a long while, I realized that maybe, just maybe, I was starting to feel something for him too. Chapter 8. The night felt surprisingly perfect. The kind of evening where the air was just cool enough to be comfortable and everything seemed to slow down. Caleb's house felt like home in a way that made me both happy and nervous. Happy because I was starting to feel like I belonged here with him and Sophie, and nervous because, well, I wasn't sure where my feelings for Caleb were heading. Dinner was on the table. And I had to admit, Sophie's extra cheese suggestion was spot on. The spaghetti was delicious, comfort food at its finest. Sophie was already digging in, practically inhaling her food, while Caleb and I shared a quieter moment. We were sitting across from each other at the kitchen table, and every so often, I caught him glancing at me with that same soft look in his eyes that had been there earlier in the yard. It was making my heart beat a little faster than usual, so I started, breaking the silence. "This spaghetti, it's really good. You and Sophie make a great team in the kitchen." Caleb smiled, the warmth in his expression making my stomach flip. "It's all Sophie. She basically told me what to do. I just followed her orders." Sophie piped up, looking proud of herself. "I even told him how much garlic to use. I'm a pro chef." "Well, you've got a future in cooking, that's for sure," I said with a laugh, watching her beam with pride. "Maybe I should hire you to cook for me." Caleb chuckled. "If you can get Sophie to stop eating the ingredients before they hit the pan, I think you've got a deal." We all laughed, but then there was a brief, awkward silence. I could tell Caleb was thinking about something, maybe even weighing his words carefully, but I wasn't sure what it was. Finally, after a moment of hesitation, he spoke. "Tessa, I've been thinking about everything, really. About how much time we've spent together, and how much I appreciate you helping out with Sophie and Pickles." I set my fork down, sensing the change in his tone. "You don't have to thank me for that, Caleb. I like spending time with you too." He nodded, but there was an intensity in his eyes that made my pulse quicken. "It's more than that, though. You've been a huge part of Sophie's life. And honestly, I'm starting to realize how much you mean to both of us. I felt my heart flutter in my chest, unsure of how to respond. Caleb, I really enjoy spending time with you too. He let out a breath, like he was working up the courage to say something else. I've never really been good at this whole emotional stuff. But when it comes to you and Sophie, I don't want to mess it up. I leaned forward slightly, meeting his gaze. You're doing great. You don't have to be perfect. You're a great uncle, and I can see how much you care about Sophie. You're doing exactly what she needs. Caleb's expression softened, but there was something vulnerable in his eyes that made my heart ache. But it's not just that, Tessa. I think I'm starting to care about you, too. More than just as Sophie's vet or my friend. His words hit me like a quiet wave, the kind that lingers even after it's passed. I felt a mix of emotions rushing through me, surprise, happiness, even a little fear. Was I ready for this? Ready to let myself fall for Caleb, knowing how complicated everything already felt? I opened my mouth to respond, but before I could say anything, Sophie interrupted, her voice full of excitement. I knew it. Uncle Caleb likes you, she exclaimed, grinning widely. I turned to Sophie, trying to hide my surprise. What? I could tell, she said confidently, her eyes shining with mischief. You two are so cute together. Pickles thinks so too. Caleb blushed, his hands running through his hair in that way he always did when he was nervous. Sophie, not now, he muttered, though his words were laced with affection. But it was too late. Sophie was already wagging her finger at us. You two should kiss. I nearly choked on my pasta. Sophie, she laughed, clearly enjoying the chaos she was stirring up. Caleb groaned, burying his face in his hands. I'm never going to live this down. I couldn't help but laugh, even though my heart was pounding. Sophie's playful teasing had broken the tension, but there was still a part of me that felt exposed. Caleb's confession, combined with Sophie's blunt honesty, left me feeling, well, like I might be standing at the edge of something big. Something I wasn't sure I was ready for. I cleared my throat, trying to regain my composure. Well, let's just focus on the spaghetti for now. Caleb smiled at me, his gaze lingering a moment longer than necessary. Yeah, probably a good idea. Sophie, apparently satisfied with the moment, went back to her food. But Caleb and I shared a quiet smile, one that spoke volumes without either of us saying a word. Chapter 9. The rest of dinner went smoothly, well, as smoothly as it could, with Sophie's endless commentary and Pickle's attempts to snatch food off the table when no one was looking. But even amid the chaos, I couldn't help but notice the way Caleb's eyes lingered on me. There was something different in his gaze now, something warmer, like he was seeing me in a new light. I wasn't sure how to feel about it. On one hand, I was flattered and a little bit excited. On the other hand, it all felt so sudden. Our dynamic had been so easy and natural before, and now, things were changing. After dinner, we moved to the living room, where Sophie curled up on the couch with a book, while Caleb and I sat across from each other. Still not quite sure how to break the new silence between us. I think I might have overcooked the pasta, Caleb said, breaking the quiet. Sophie didn't seem to mind, though. I chuckled. It was actually perfect. You don't have to worry. I'm not good at this whole cooking thing, he admitted with a sheepish smile. But I'm getting better, I guess. You're definitely getting better, I said, teasing him gently. Sophie's got you whipped in the kitchen. He laughed, clearly grateful for the lighthearted exchange. Yeah, she's a tough critic. But she knows what she's talking about. For a few minutes, we sat in comfortable silence, the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air between us. I could feel the tension, but I wasn't sure how to handle it. I liked Caleb, more than I probably should. But the reality of what that meant, especially with Sophie involved, felt a little overwhelming. Finally, I broke the silence. Caleb, about what you said earlier, I didn't mean to make things awkward, he interrupted, his voice low. I don't know how to say it. But I don't want you to think I'm only interested because of Sophie or because she's, well, my responsibility. I genuinely like you, Tessa. And I think you might like me too. I felt my face heat up. Was I really that obvious? My heart skipped a beat. I do like you, I admitted, looking down at my hands. Suddenly unsure of how to meet his gaze, Caleb's voice softened, and I could feel him drawing closer, both emotionally and physically. You make everything easier, Tessa. Sophie, Pickles, and me too. I've never felt this way about anyone in a long time. Before I could respond, a loud bark broke the moment. Pickles had somehow managed to knock over a vase on the coffee table and was now trying to pick up the broken pieces of glass in his mouth. Oh, Pickles. I jumped up, rushing to the dog's side. What are you doing? Caleb was already on his feet, grabbing a towel to help clean up. I swear, this dog has more energy than any dog I've ever met. We both hurried to make sure Pickles was okay, but the moment had passed. The romantic tension we'd shared just moments ago seemed to evaporate in the chaos of Pickles' antics. After a few minutes of frantic cleanup, we managed to get the glass away from Pickles and get him settled back down on the floor, where he promptly rolled over on his back and kicked his legs in the air as if nothing had happened. Caleb and I exchanged amused glances, both of us trying to hold back laughter. Well, I said, still catching my breath, I guess that's one way to break the tension. Yeah, Pickles is definitely a conversation starter, Caleb said, chuckling. He glanced at me, his expression more relaxed now, but there was still that undercurrent of something unsaid between us. Maybe we should just stick to the easy stuff, like dog sitting, until we figure this out. I nodded, feeling the weight of his words. I wasn't ready for things to change just yet, not with everything else going on. But I also couldn't ignore the way my heart fluttered when he looked at me like that. I think that sounds like a good plan, I said, my voice soft but steady. Caleb smiled, and for a moment, I saw a flicker of something more in his eyes. Yeah, let's just take it one step at a time. We spent the rest of the evening watching Sophie fall asleep on the couch while Pickles snored beside her, his little body twitching in his sleep. Caleb and I sat quietly together, sharing a peaceful moment that felt right. Even if I wasn't sure where things were going, I knew one thing for certain. I didn't want to walk away from this. Not yet. Chapter 10. The days that followed were a whirlwind of work, dog sitting, and late-night chats. Caleb and I were falling into a routine that felt comfortable, but also unfamiliar. Every time we were together, the moments lingered longer than before, and the silences between us had become heavier. It was like we were on the brink of something, but neither of us was ready to take that final step. It was an unusually warm afternoon when it happened. I was at Caleb's house, sitting on the porch with Sophie, who was trying to teach Pickles how to do a trick involving a tennis ball. Caleb had gone inside to grab some lemonade, and the two of us were enjoying the peace. Pickles is really starting to get the hang of it, Sophie said, watching the dog roll the ball around in confusion. But I think he needs more training. I think Pickles needs more patience, I said with a laugh, sipping my lemonade. But he's doing better than most dogs I know. Sophie grinned. You're right. He's the best puppy ever. Just as I was about to reply, Caleb stepped outside, holding 2 glasses of lemonade. How's everything going out here? He asked, his gaze flicking from Sophie to me. We're making progress, I said, smiling at him. Pickles is almost a pro. Caleb chuckled and handed me a glass. Well, that's good to hear. I was worried he was going to turn the yard into a disaster zone again. Yeah, he did a little of that last week, I teased. But I think we've got it under control now. Caleb sat down next to me, close enough that I could feel the warmth of his body radiating towards mine. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly took a sip of my lemonade to cover the sudden rush of nerves. So, what's next? I asked, trying to keep the conversation light. Caleb leaned back, glancing at Sophie and Pickles, who were now involved in an enthusiastic game of chase. Next? Well, Sophie's been bugging me about taking her to the dog park, but I've been putting it off. I'm not sure if I'm ready to face the crowds there. You know, the dog park's not that bad, I said with a smile. It's actually kind of fun. Pickles would love it. I don't know, Caleb replied, looking hesitant. I just don't want him getting into trouble with all the other dogs. I think he'll be fine, I said, teasing him. Unless you're worried about Pickles embarrassing you. He grinned at me, but there was a hint of seriousness in his eyes. Maybe, but more than that. I guess I'm just worried about messing up. I raised an eyebrow. Messing up? Caleb, you're doing great. You're an amazing dog dad. He sighed, looking down at his hands. I don't know, Tessa. I've always had a hard time letting go of control. And I guess I'm scared that, if things get too serious with you, I'll mess that up too. My heart softened at his words. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to reassure him, but I also wanted to be honest with him. I had my own fears, ones I hadn't really faced yet. Caleb, I began, but before I could say anything else, a loud bark interrupted me. Pickles had gotten distracted by a squirrel and was now tugging on his leash, pulling Sophie along with him in the process. Pickles. Sophie giggled, struggling to keep up. You're going to pull me into the bushes. Caleb and I both stood up quickly, rushing over to help Sophie with the now enthusiastic Pickles. The little dog was bouncing around, oblivious to the chaos he was causing. Okay, Pickles, Caleb said, trying to rein him in. Let's not pull your aunt's arm off. Sophie laughed, clearly enjoying the chaos. Maybe we should take him to the dog park after all. I think he needs to burn off some energy. Caleb and I exchanged a look, and something unspoken passed between us. Maybe we didn't need to face the chaos of the dog park, just like we needed to face whatever we were becoming. All right, Caleb said with a smile, his eyes meeting mine. Let's do it. Dog park it is. We made our way to the car, Sophie in the back seat with Pickles, and I found myself sitting next to Caleb, the drive feeling like it held more weight than just a simple trip to the park. I wasn't sure where things were going, but I was starting to feel like we were inching closer to something real. The dog park was exactly as I remembered, chaotic, crowded, but oddly comforting. We watched as Pickles bounded around, happily interacting with the other dogs, and I couldn't help but smile at how carefree he was. After a while, Sophie ran off to play with some new friends, leaving Caleb and me sitting on the bench together, watching the dogs. I guess we didn't mess up, Caleb said, breaking the silence with a laugh that I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in days. I told you, you're doing great. He turned to face me, his expression serious for a moment. Tessa, I don't know where this is going, but I don't want to mess it up. I don't think you will, I said quietly, our eyes locking. But I guess we'll just have to take it one step at a time. He nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. Then, without thinking, he leaned in just enough that I could feel the heat of his breath on my skin. For a second, everything seemed to pause, the sounds of the park faded, and the space between us closed. I could see the uncertainty in his eyes, but there was something else, too, a longing, maybe, or just the hope that this could be something real. And then, just as I thought he might kiss me, Pickles let out a loud bark, making us both jump. We both laughed. The tension breaking, but there was something undeniably special about that moment. Even though it hadn't gone the way I expected, it felt like a promise that we weren't done yet, that this wasn't over. Chapter 11. The next few days passed in a blur of puppy playdates, busy clinic shifts, and phone calls that were just long enough to leave my heart racing and my thoughts scattered. Caleb and I had been in this weird, in-between place for what felt like forever. We were definitely more than friends, but neither of us had made the leap to define what we were. It was frustrating at times, especially when I could feel the pull between us growing stronger, but I also didn't want to rush things. Not when there was so much I still didn't know about him. On one particular evening, I found myself standing in front of my door, my heart pounding a little harder than usual. Caleb had texted me earlier, asking if I wanted to grab a drink and talk about something important. I'd said yes, obviously. What else could I say? But now I was questioning everything. What was he going to say? Was this the moment when things would finally shift? I opened the door just as Caleb knocked, his face lighting up with a smile when he saw me. Hey, he greeted, his voice warm but with a hint of uncertainty. Hey, I replied, stepping aside so he could come in. What's going on? You said you needed to talk. Caleb hesitated for a moment, glancing around my apartment before his gaze met mine. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about us. I felt a twinge of nervousness. Us? Yeah. I mean, I know we've been spending time together, taking care of Pickles, hanging out with Sophie, and it's been great. But I think I need to be honest with you about where I'm at. He took a deep breath, as if preparing for something big. "Tessa, I'm falling for you." I don't know how or when it happened, but I can't ignore it anymore. My heart skipped a beat, my breath catching in my throat. Was he serious? Caleb, I started, my mind racing. I don't know what to say. He smiled softly, his eyes filled with vulnerability. You don't have to say anything right now. I just wanted you to know. I've never felt this way before, and I don't want to mess it up. But I also don't want to keep pretending like I'm okay just being friends. I opened my mouth to respond, but before I could find the right words, the sound of a loud bark from the hallway interrupted us. Pickles, of course. He'd somehow managed to break free from his leash and was now happily running around the living room. Tail wagging, Caleb's eyes widened, and he let out a laugh. I swear, this dog has impeccable timing. I couldn't help but laugh too. He really does. I guess he's our matchmaker. We both bent down to try and catch him, and in the process, I found myself laughing harder than I had in a while. Caleb was trying to catch Pickles with that same determined look in his eyes, the one I'd come to recognize as the one he got whenever he was serious about something. But when our hands brushed as we both reached for the dog, everything froze. The moment stretched out, and for a brief second, it felt like we were the only two people in the room. Pickles, sensing that his escape had been thwarted, barked in protest, but we didn't move. I was so aware of the closeness between us, the electricity in the air, and the way my heart was beating faster than normal. Caleb's voice was barely above a whisper. Tessa. Before I could say anything, the door to my apartment opened, and Sophie, bless her heart, strolled in, blissfully unaware of the moment she'd interrupted. Hey, you guys. Sophie greeted, grinning ear to ear. I brought you both some cookies. I made them at my friend's house. Caleb and I broke apart, both of us blushing like we'd been caught doing something we weren't supposed to. Sophie didn't seem to notice at all, though. She handed me a plate of warm cookies and plopped down on the couch as if it was just another normal evening. I looked over at Caleb, who seemed to be hiding a smile behind his hand. Thanks, Sophie, I said, trying to regain my composure. These look amazing. Yeah, Sophie, Caleb added with a grin. Thanks for the cookies. Sophie beamed at us. No problem. But if you guys are gonna have a deep conversation, just let me know. I'll leave you two alone. Both Caleb and I turned bright red at the suggestion, and I had to quickly stifle a laugh. It's not like that, I said, though I was pretty sure my face betrayed me. Sophie just raised an eyebrow, clearly not buying it. Sure. Whatever you say. The rest of the evening was spent with awkward, nervous laughter and a lot of distracted conversation, the moment hanging between Caleb and me, but never fully resurfacing. I couldn't help but feel like we were getting closer to something real, but there was still so much left unsaid. I walked Caleb to the door later that night. I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the end of our story. We had something special, but it was still fragile. And maybe it wasn't time yet, but I could feel it. We were getting closer. Before he left, Caleb turned to me, his expression soft. Tessa, whatever happens, I want you to know that I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I smiled, my heart fluttering. Thanks, Caleb. I want that too. As he stepped out the door, I closed it behind him and leaned against it, my mind spinning. Things were changing, and I wasn't sure where we were headed. But for the first time, I felt like I was ready to find out. Chapter 12. The next few days felt like I was walking around in a haze. Caleb had confessed his feelings for me, but nothing had really changed. We still spent time together, Sophie, Pickles, and I, going on dog walks, playing fetch in the park, and laughing at the ridiculousness of Pickles' antics. But something was different now. The tension between Caleb and me was more palpable, and every touch, every glance, felt charged in a way it never had before. I knew what we needed. We needed to talk. Really talked. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I had just finished an exhausting shift at the clinic. I was ready for a little downtime when I heard a knock on my door. My heart skipped a beat. I knew exactly who it was. I opened the door to find Caleb standing there, holding a cup of coffee in one hand and a small dog toy in the other. His smile was warm, but there was an undeniable seriousness in his eyes. Hey, he said softly, stepping inside as I moved aside. I thought you could use a coffee break. Thanks, I said with a small smile, taking the coffee from him. You're right. I definitely need one. Caleb sat down on the couch, picking up the dog toy and tossing it to Pickles, who eagerly pounced on it. There was a moment of silence as we both sipped our drinks, neither of us quite knowing what to say. Finally, Caleb broke the silence. Tessa, I've been thinking about what I said the other night, and I think we need to talk. About what's next. I felt my stomach flip. This was it, the moment we'd both been avoiding. Yeah, I've been thinking about that too, I said, setting my coffee down on the table. I mean, we can't just keep pretending like everything's fine when it's not. Caleb nodded, his expression serious. I'm not sure how we got here, but I know that I want to be with you. I want more than just whatever this is. He paused, his eyes searching mine. But I don't want to rush anything either. I just want to know that we're on the same page. I took a deep breath, my heart racing. I want to be with you too, but I think we need to take it slow. I've been hurt before, and I don't want to jump into something if we're not ready. Caleb's face softened, and he leaned in a little closer. I understand. I'm not rushing you, Tessa. I just want to be here for you, however you need me. But I don't want to miss my chance either. His words hit me harder than I expected, and I realized that I wasn't just afraid of getting hurt again. I was afraid of losing something that felt so special. Caleb had become such a big part of my life, and I couldn't imagine it without him. I'm scared too, I admitted quietly. But I'm willing to try. I'm willing to see where this goes. With you. Caleb's smile returned, his eyes lighting up with relief. You mean that? I nodded. I do. And then, without another word, he reached for my hand, his touch gentle but sure. It was like a quiet promise, one that spoke louder than any words could. And in that moment, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Whatever happened next, we were in this together. Before I knew it, Caleb leaned in, his lips brushing mine in a soft, tentative kiss. It was everything I had hoped for, gentle, sweet, and full of unspoken emotions. For a moment, I forgot everything else, the fear, the uncertainty, and simply focused on the way he made me feel. Safe, wanted, and most importantly, not alone. When we pulled away, both of us breathless, Caleb grinned at me. I've wanted to do that for a while. I laughed, feeling a flutter in my chest. Me too. Pickles, ever the attention seeker, decided that it was the perfect time to jump on the couch and nuzzle between us, effectively ending the moment with his excited barks. Caleb and I both laughed, and I couldn't help but feel that everything was finally falling into place. This was the start of something new, something real. It wasn't going to be perfect, but I knew we were ready to face whatever came our way together. Epilogue, a new beginning 6 months later. Life had a rhythm of its own. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. Caleb and I had finally found our footing. We spent weekends at the dog park, with Pickles chasing after every stick thrown his way, and Sophie, who had become a regular fixture in our lives, tagging along with us, always full of energy and ready for adventure. But the best part? It was all with Caleb by my side. In the mornings, we'd grab coffee from the local cafe, our new tradition, and take the long way to the clinic. Pickles, of course, was always along for the ride, his head out the window, ears flapping in the wind. I couldn't help but smile every time I saw Caleb with him, the way they'd playfully wrestle on the living room floor, or the way Caleb's eyes would soften when Pickles curled up beside him at the end of the day. It was clear to me now that the love I saw between them wasn't just about a dog. It was about the connection we were all building together. I had my moments of doubt, but with Caleb, I never felt like I had to be perfect. We had found a way to make it work, and I wasn't afraid anymore. I was learning to trust again, to open my heart fully to someone who truly cared for me. Quirks and all point one evening, as we sat on my couch, the two of us and Sophie, I watched Caleb reach into his pocket and pull out a small velvet box. My heart skipped a beat and I froze, my eyes wide. Caleb, what are you doing? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He smiled, a bit sheepishly, but there was determination in his eyes. I've been thinking about this for a while. I know we've only been together for a little while, but I want to take that next step. I want to be with you, Tessa, in every way. I looked at the small box in his hand, my heart racing. Was he? Caleb, I didn't know what to say. My mind was racing a mile a minute, and I was honestly afraid I was going to pass out. But Caleb wasn't going to let me get away that easily. He opened the box, revealing a delicate silver bracelet with a small charm in the shape of a paw print. I felt my breath catch in my throat. I know it's not an engagement ring, he said, laughing softly, but it's a promise. A promise that, whether we're facing challenges or just having fun, we're in this together. You, me, Pickles, Sophie, we're family. And I want you to know I'm not going anywhere. Tears welled up in my eyes as I reached for the bracelet, my hand trembling. This wasn't just a gift. It was a symbol of everything we had been through and everything we still had ahead of us. Oh, Caleb, I whispered. I love you. He smiled, taking my hand gently. I love you too. And just like that, we were home together. No more uncertainty, no more fear. Just the promise of a life shared, full of love, laughter, and even more puppy-filled adventures. Pickles, as always, chose that exact moment to jump up and bark as though congratulating us, and we both laughed. Knowing that he'd always be a part of our little family, I looked at Caleb, my heart swelling with happiness. We'd come so far, and there was no one else I'd rather walk through this life with.